6 to 7 months ago on this channel, I debuted one of my greatest videos of all time, where I discuss Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, whatever you want to call them, first ever 15 preview of what would be known as GodSlap Issue 1. That video did extremely well, as you can obviously tell, so I decided to make a sequel where he finally released the full-length first issue of GodSlap. Now, when I read this, I went back and forth between the newest one and the older one, because I didn't know this, the first 15 pages have changes to them. So what I decided to do is, and this was also countered by a Twitter poll, which go follow the Twitter and Twitch down below. I'm just going to link that right now to get that out of the way. But what I decided to do was split these into two different videos. This video that you're watching right now is purely going to be the analysis over the first 15 pages or so from both the new book and the old book, comparing the differences and giving my sort of intake on why those changes might have been made. The second video, which is going to be coming out about 5 to 7 days after this one, will be my sole opinion solely based off the new issue alone. Not going to be referring back to any of the previous source material and all that stuff, so I'm not repeating and dragging over a dead horse or a dead topic. Now that that's all out of the way, before we even get into it, I want to thank you all for watching and supporting this channel. We are getting really close to 100 subscribers, so if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. But let's finally talk about the differences. Releasing little over a year ago, the first 15-page preview was a limited time run that I was able to get my hands on. I made a video about it. I'll link it down below, but I'm not going to be trying to discuss many of the points that I made in there. Now, reading the newest issue, I had found that, of course, they used the 15-page preview as, of course, the first 15 pages in here. But what I didn't notice before I went back into it was there were subtle dialogue differences and new stuff added that I really wanted to talk about. Now, opening up the first ever book, you immediately get to see a new preview section for the characters I will be talking about. I won't bring them up here because that will be part of the later discussion or review of the actual comic, but it's a nice little inclusion to allow people to understand more of the depth of this world. They discuss the 4 main characters, or the 4 title characters discussed in this book, and the city that it's located in. The first newest edition is a full page without dialogue showing us Darius arriving on the outside the Elder Swan, which is the name of the nightclub that the first 15 pages starts in. Immediately we get to see new dialogue changes where some of the stuff is moved around. We get to see, of course, the guy being an absolute douchebag to the waitress, but it subtly changes. So as we see, there is actually an additional little piece of dialogue added before he's shot and killed, where they decide to add the "this is more than you deserve" line, which I guess is supposed to impact more about his cruelty towards anyone and kind of his animosity. But this also might be the result of them cutting a line, as they in the original, where he says, and his dying quote is, "They say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, and I do love women and booze," with his final words being, "I'd be happy either way." Nothing has really changed about his death besides him subtly saying "ugh," and in the original someone calls him Billy, which I'll talk about that in a second, and subtle words being changed from like "what the fuck" and all that stuff, or it being changed around. These aren't really majorly important ones, but they're small little ones to notice. Now, a major one, and I will discuss more on why they changed it here. Darius approaches the body. In the original, Darius approaches the body that says, "I can't pretend I didn't take pleasure in killing you, Billy Wright, you bastarding fuck. I mean, you fucking bastard." It now changes to him not even talking about the body, but merely being approached by it, with him being confronted by Billy Wright's goons. I'm assuming that his name is still Billy Wright. They might discuss this in later issues about the name later being revealed, but it's sort of weird for what they're going for him not to talk about, not to approach the actual name. Nothing else has majorly changed. There is some subtle differences. It remains entirely the same until we get to the point where Darius flicks the camera, of course. The changes that we see is with the dialogue from a character that we'll get to know as Sal, and I'm just going to call him Sal right now, where, and this is very subtle, but in the original he asks, "How the fuck did Darius get in here?" to "What the fuck is Darius doing back here? Lock down the Elder Swan, call the blank." And the original, it's "lock the vault and drive Darius towards the back so we can," and then they're killed. They go over how they finger flick the camera and all that stuff. He does also, a thing I have to mention, in the original he says "Jesus" before the boom, and in this one, he says nothing is said at all. It's just the boom. I don't know if they're trying to eliminate like a sort of overarching Christianity or anything like that. That's a weird theory, but it might be kind of like, how in Star Wars, that's never really discussed Christianity, but Han Solo at sometimes says Jesus Christ or something like that, or "oh God." Hi there, everyone. So this is Editor Bat right now. I'm editing all the audio and all that stuff. I actually double checked this. I don't know. I can't prove that Han Solo said Jesus or God at some point, but there's a nifty little thing on Wikipedia, the Star Wars Wikipedia, where there's literally a section where it talks about, where it pinpoints the exact times that people discuss God in canon. A lot of it's from Clone Wars, I think, or Rebels, but they say God, Forsaken, or God, which, implies God, so There you go. And then we also get to see in subtle dialogue when Darius approaches Sal and asks him for a cigarette. Now, after Darius asks for this cigarette, it changes from this is a substantial story change or character change. Sal says in the original, I could have had you killed, you know. And in the new one, I could have had you killed, you know. This implies that there is a past tense with the coulda compared to could, and kill instead of killed. This is even more presented when Darius smokes a cigarette, where the original line is, I let you live, I let you walk away after everything. And in the new one, he says, they wanted you dead, I let you walk away. All the rest of the dialogue is similar between that, and then he changes, if you kill me, they'll know, and you'll never be safe from the newest one, and if you kill me, you'll never be safe again. It's a very important story change, even though it's like subtle dialogue changes, because it implies that there's more of a past between Sal and Darius, and how there's an overarching group that they both are aware of. That's the implied they, I assume. And they wanted Darius dead for probably some past transaction or past action that Darius has committed against the they in this instance. While the original, it seems like more of a one-off event, this new one implies there's more of a reason for Darius going to the Elder Swan, of course. All the rest of the dialogue stays the exact same, but there is a subtle move of dialogue, once again, such like in the beginning, where they moved the dialogue around for the Billy Wright guy. In the newest one, that full page of him getting his jaw slapped off, which once again, the art is amazing, I can't talk about that enough, there was originally dialogue over it saying, my life, your life, it doesn't matter how many die as long as AS gets to live. That is moved from one area to the other, where it's now being taken place where we see AS, shirtless working with machinery and Darius approaching him. And I have to mention this, they get rid of the dialogue that Darius says to AS in the scene. And I think that once again builds more of a character dynamic and sort of plot dynamic. Within the original, AS saying to Darius, you said you only be gone a day. Darius replying, the day turned into 3. It happens, AS. Don't be petulant. AS replying, you could have taken me with you. Darius saying no. AS retorting with, you can't say no every time. And Darius ending the conversation and ending that first initial 15 pages with, I can and I will finish your chores before dinner. That, in my opinion, changes up the dynamic between the two. And I'll be talking about this in the next video, them having more pages discussing less of a younger brother to older brother scenario to guardian sort of thing, where Darius is seen more as a protector of AS than anything. But yeah, that's my video just talking about this. Thank y'all for watching this one. I know this is very weird for an upload schedule, but I really did want to talk about this, and I didn't want to make the next GodSlap video super long, but it probably is going to be anyway because I have a lot to talk about this. But once again, I want to remind this, I will not be talking about the first 15 pages in the next one. I'll merely be talking about the rest of them so we can just not tread any more of a new stuff. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. This has been amazing. I'm going to be linking, of course, the GodSlap website. In difference with the original 15 pages, you can still get copies now. You can get posters, you can get all that sort of stuff down below. There is some variants that, once again, sold out, but the base comic you can definitely get, and I recommend you do to support these amazing creators and the artists behind them, because, they have helped me substantially, even though they may not know it at all. Well, thank you all for watching. Once again, the new video will be coming out soon. I hope you guys have a great day, great night, great midday, great midnight. Make sure not to die, and I'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.